Hi, this is Don with Santa Coffee Roasters. I want to talk with you in this video a bit about what's called the cupping process. The cupping process is how professionals, bean buyers, and coffee roasters sample their coffees. For the bean buyers, that would be to see whether a sample has defects in it in the flavors. For the coffee roasters, if you had seen our previous video, it's very much how well you have achieved your targets of the flavors you're looking to do. The strength of the cupping process is its consistency. Coffee is generally brewed on a ratio of about 1 part coffee to about 17 parts water. If you prefer a stronger brew, then you may do 1:16, or a lighter brew, you may want to do 18 parts of water. But again, the strength of it is in the consistency, in that this is how you will sample every cup of coffee going forward. And you will know at that point whether or not one coffee varies in flavor from one to the other. It ultimately may be a mistake to do this at 7 o'clock at night. I'll let you know how that progresses, but we'll go through the process and we'll explain exactly what the cupping process entails. Okay, so for the cupping process, the process is specific, a 1:17 ratio or thereabouts. In my case, I prefer it a little bit stronger, so I'll do 1:16, and that will be my standard, consistent, going forward, and I'll be able to compare different coffees equally one to the other. One of the strengths of this method is that it does not use any kind of paper filter or any other type of method that can taint the flavor. This is very much what we used to call campfire coffee way back when. The water just goes directly on the beans and it brews for 4 minutes. And then there's a process called breaking the crust, which we'll show you. And then you make tastes at that point, wait another 4 minutes, taste again, wait another 4 minutes, taste again. The flavors will change over those periods of time, and you'll be able to compare. In the case of what we're doing here, there is one that's kind of a medium roast, one that's a little bit darker, and one that we had done a couple of days ago as a cinnamon roast. So this one should taste very much grassy and a little more on the acidic side. The size of the glasses that you see, you can do this with any size glass as long as you maintain the ratios. But these I bought specifically to be able to put in 11.1 grams of coffee and then 177 grams of water, where it will fill right to the top. So it becomes an easy way to pour and go, so that all of the timers are started on time. With regard to the water itself, it's not at 212 degrees, but a little bit less than that. About 200 degrees is the temperature that you want to do the cupping at. In this case, one of the ways to do that is to simply take it off boil by about 60 seconds. And the water there is now at that point. So we'll begin the process. You may note that the size of the grains are pretty coarse for this process, much as it would be with a French press coffee. Now, don't be offended that I handled this. This is my cup, but I wanted to show you what the grain size looked like. So I'll pour the water now, and I'll start the timer at the same time, and then we'll come back at the end of 4 minutes and show you the next process. Once again, if this fills right to the top, then I know that's 177 grams of water to 11.1 grams of coffee. Make sure to get them all. And to start the timer. There we go. One of the things at this point, even at this outset, is to test with the smells. Coffee is very much of a savory experience. And indeed, very different flavors. This one is my favorite of the three so far. This one's pretty light. But we'll come back to this process in about at the end of 4 minutes when the timer counts down to 8, and we'll do the next phase. Thanks for watching this one. The glasses normally would be a little more further separated apart, but the purpose for this is to be able to get it all in camera. What's a little bit out of sight is the spoons necessary, a couple of tablespoons and a glass of water to clean them. We'll show you how that progresses in the next phase of the video. Thanks. While these were brewing, we took some good deep smells of the flavors. This one is the darkest of roasts. This, I forget the country of origin for this. May have been Ethiopian or Burundi. This was, I believe, Guatemala. This is Indonesia. But so there's some slight difference with the flavors, but mostly it's the roast. You could see the colors, perhaps you could see the colors, darker as well. So we're past the 4-minute mark, and the next phase is what they call the breaking of the crust, where you take two tablespoons and then move aside the crust to be able to bring just the coffee. And at that point, also smell for the flavors. Do you want to? What do you smell?
I like that one the best.
Yeah, me too. As we had said in one of the other videos, the medium roasts tend to be our favorite because they strike the balance between the origin flavors and the roast flavors. And the slurp flavors that you'll hear, there's a purpose for that.
I don't slurp as well.
Oh, I like that one. The reason why the coffee testers do the slurping is because the taste buds are in various sections of the tongue, indeed all around the mouth as well. So that gets all over the mouth to be able to taste the nuances of the flavors. But once again, this is the method by which now coffee is compared from bean to bean, and from roast level to roast level, and from successful roast to not quite so successful a roast. If there's a defect in the beans that are in the roast, this is exactly where it comes out. We will do our best to cup most everything before it goes out. And then in another minute, we'll taste it again. And then again, so it's 4 minutes, and then 8 minutes, and then finally at 12 minutes. At 12 minutes, coffee begins to break down. And you can see that with oils that rise to the top. If you see that in a restaurant, you know that coffee is either older than the 12-minute time frame, or they have gotten in the habit of mixing pots in between. But 12 minutes at that point, coffee begins to break down. But surprisingly enough, the flavors will change as it goes. Some of my favorite flavors to taste are at the 8-minute mark, and in fact the 12-minute mark. So we're there, so I'll do that one more time just to... The acidity is still in this one. Nice balance between the roast levels and the origin flavors as well. The professional coffee tasters, you will see them, it can be a little gross. They swallow the coffee as they taste because they're drinking all day long. And in my case, I am, A, for the part of the video, and B, because I prefer the taste of the coffee. And as I had suggested at the outset, I may discover that's a mistake in about 4 hours tonight in the middle of the night. But okay, 3 minutes left to go for the 12 minutes. We'll end this at this point. Thanks for taking a look at our method of consistently tasting between beans and batches and roasts and so forth. The highlights, once again, that I most like about this method is that water directly on the beans will give you the truest taste of the coffee beans themselves. Paper filters or metal filters, they tend to thin out the taste of the coffee. So I highly recommend this, even at home. And it doesn't have to be this type of cup. Once again, you want to shoot for a 1:17 ratio, 1:16 ratio, whatever you prefer, 200 degrees, and taste what the coffee tastes like in that form. Because if you're not necessarily happy with how the coffee's coming out, it may be your brew method. And we'll do another video on brew methods as well, and the reasons why and how coffees are brewed differently. And that should be, we expect that to be illuminating as well. There's an awful lot of information to reveal in that, and that's our mission to you, to help you to find a better cup of coffee. That's our goal. Follow us on Sienna Coffee Roasters Facebook page, and thanks again for viewing.